Welcome to Gold Star Classroom, the podcast where our panelists go back to school. I'll grade them on their answers to a variety of general knowledge and trivia questions. They don't know what I'm going to ask, and I don't know what they're going to say. The student with the highest grade at the end of today's class will win the coveted classroom prize, the Golden Banana. I'm your host and professor, Dr. Jerry Jaffe. Welcome to today's episode of Gold Star Classroom. I'm your host and headmaster, Dr. Jerry Jaffe, and it is my pleasure to introduce today's students. Sitting on my left is comedian and man about town, Dan Brown.
Thank you. How's everyone doing?
Your teacher is fine.
It's like you're working the crowd.
Yeah.
Any anniversaries here tonight?
Sitting on the right is a comedian from Youngstown, John Huff.
How you doing? What's going on?
I'm okay. John, how are you?
I'm good, blessed.
Yes, welcome to class.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me. Man.
Oh, we're
Appreciate
lucky to
it.
have you.
I hope you know you're being charged for that water.
And, well, we have to pay for the classroom somehow. It's all the hidden fees.
First gas, now water. Oh, Lord.
And sitting across from me is comedian and raconteur, musician, puppet master, Kevin Downey Jr.
Good day, sir. How are you?
Good day, sir. Welcome to class.
Raconteur and puppet master. I like
Yes,
that.
I thought
That's
so.
my new intro tomorrow. We're talking raconteur and puppet master. Kevin
And
Downey
so
Jr.
it should be.
That audience is going to be so pissed when you don't have any puppets.
I know. They're going to go, where's the puppet?
It is my job as your professor, as always, to ask you questions across the breadth and width of human knowledge, and as any good teacher would do, to grade your answers. And at the end of the class, the student with the highest grade will win the coveted classroom prize, the Golden Banana.
Woo!
Are you gentlemen ready?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Well, just to get things started, I'll ask a quick and easy question, so whoever can answer the fastest scores the points.
Do we have to go on the table? You just yelled it out.
And in fact, please don't do that to the table. It disturbs the tabletop mic.
We just yell out beep. Or...
Yes, but just ding, speed, dong. So your first question is, where is the world's first Arby's?
Austintown, Ohio.
Wrong.
Boardman, Ohio.
Boardman.
We have a tie, so tie goes to Kevin.
Woo!
All right, Kevin.
I didn't say anything. I win.
Based on very sketchy research done moments before the show, it may be, the first Arby's may be in Boardman, Ohio.
Really? All right.
All right, so now that you're warmed up, let's get into a real topic, if you will. I have here, for your first topic, some simple geology questions. So we'll see how well you know the planet Earth, that place where we all live. My first question is simply this. Where on Earth, if you know, is the world's biggest, and this does mean tallest, by the way, volcano?
This is actually geography, I think, not geology. Geology is the study of stones, is it not?
Geology is a study of the earth sciences.
Really?
Geography is a study of maps and places and locations.
Okay.
So they do overlap.
Okay.
Because it would be like on a map where is...
I was confused.
Yes.
When you said geology, I'm going to get none of these.
Okay.
Where is below the Earth's surface?
Incorrect, sir.
Oh,
It is in a visible location that we could all visit should we want to.
heaven.
Hawaii.
No, I said it's a real place, and it is in Hawaii, sir. Kevin Downey Jr. is correct. I'll give you a B+. To get an A, you would have to know the name of that volcano.
Hold on. Is it... I give up.
It is an obscure Hawaiian word that you kind of have to know. John, any guesses?
I dropped out in 8th grade.
Well, it's a good thing you're in school, sir. We'll get you to at least 8.5 by the end of this class. It's called Mauna Kea, and it is 6 miles tall.
Wow.
But the trick is it starts at the bottom of the ocean floor
Oh, okay.
and then comes up like the Hawaiian Islands do.
I will argue
But
that
it's
I was
total-
also correct.
You were partially correct.
Okay.
I'll give you partial credit.
Great.
0.5.
Ooh.
But now I have a follow-up question. It might even be easier. I don't know. It just depends, how well you know your geology. Where is the largest volcano in the solar system?
Jupiter.
We have a vote for Jupiter. Anyone want to agree or disagree?
I'm going to go... Well, no, I'm going to go Venus on this one.
We have a vote for Venus.
Go Mars.
John Huff wins at M for Mars.
I almost said Mars.
Anyone who has seen the original Arnold Schwarzenegger Total Recall knows, because the volcano features in the movie. It's part of the story. There's a big volcano
Almost
there. That's
said
real.
that.
Anyone know the name? John, you can go first. Of the volcano on Mars?
No clue.
No clue. Any clues?
I'm going to say Mauna Kea.
It's Olympus Mons, meaning the mountain of Olympus.
Is it active?
Um,
Do they know?
They know quite a lot about it, but in my lesson plan today, all I have is its height, which is 16 miles,
Wow.
which of course makes it 10 miles taller than the earthbound volcano. That went probably better than I had any right for it to go. So let me ask you this question. Where on Earth is the hottest spot? That means the surface temperature on Earth. Any guesses, any ideas?
You're talking about temperature, not...
Yes.
Okay.
This is like measured temperatures on the surface of the Earth.
I'm
So
gonna
not
s-
at the core, not inside a volcano.
on the surface. I'm going to say, do you want the country?
Well, we can start with the country. We can go with that, and
I'm
then
gonna
see if
go,
we can narrow it down later.
Well, it's probably a desert.
It is a desert. I'll give you a D for desert.
Huh. I'm going to say...
Kuwait.
We have a vote for Kuwait. Anyone have other desert regions in mind?
I'm going to say the Horn of Africa.
We have a vote for the Horn of Africa.
It's
John?
equator-ish.
I'm going to go with what he said. Kuwait.
You think Kuwait?
Yeah.
It is in the Middle East, but it's in the country currently referred to as Iran. Any idea how hot?
150 degrees.
Anyone want
I'll say 138.
to 138?
You know, I was gonna pull the old
151?
name your price. Yeah,
Yeah, Price is Right. Yes.
Price is Right. Yeah.
Maybe around that range or in between.
In fact, if you had said 151, you would have won.
Oh.
It's 159.
Wow.
So that was a good guess.
Oh!
Yes.
Oh!
That would be Dan Brown. You'll get an H for being hot.
Alrighty.
Now, I'll allow the previous question. Where's the hottest spot in the solar system?
Sun.
The sun.
Kevin is correct. It
was
is
easy.
it is the sun. Any idea how hot it gets on the sun?
Pretty damn hot.
Damn it! I was gonna say.
Well, then Dan gets 5 psychic points for reading Kevin's mind.
Alrighty.
The hottest portions of the sun get over 25 million degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow.
But of course, that's also like a ridiculous number that normal people don't care about.
Yeah.
So if we just stick to like the planets and moons,
How do they really find that temperature, though? Because
well,
my thermostat only goes up to about 110.
that thermostat would melt if it got within any distance of the sun, so it would not be reliable.
Okay.
However, of like the planets and the other moons and the surfaces, what's the hottest like planetary surface temperature in the solar system?
Jupiter.
We have a vote for Jupiter.
Mercury.
We have a vote for Mercury,
Ooh,
which
I didn't
is,
even
of
think
course,
about
the
that.
closest to the
Yes.
sun.
Wow.
John, would you like to go with an answer?
Uranus.
Mine? No. The planet of Uranus is the furthest out planet, actually, so it's quite cold there. The surface temperatures on Mercury get up to 780 degrees Fahrenheit,
Wow.
but that is not the hottest.
Is it
Really?
Jupiter?
No, it is actually Venus. And even though Venus is, the second sun, it has a little bit of an atmosphere, so
Oh.
it retains heat more. And so the hottest known temperature of a planet's surface is 860 degrees,
Wow.
which is how hot it gets on Venus. All right. Thank you for playing along, because I just love these questions. I have 2 more questions on the same theme, and you can see the pattern now. Where on Earth, if you know, has been the wind speed fastest or biggest hurricane ever recorded?
Where on Earth?
Yes.
The fastest hurricane
Of course,
speed.
hurricanes have names, so actually the answer to this real question is the name of the
You
hurricane.
want the name of it?
But that's what
Okay.
we're going to try to get to. But I would be happy to give partial credit if someone can tell me where it occurred in
What
the
is
world.
the hurricane that came through with Noah and the Ark?
I'm gonna
Because that
say
stayed for 40 days.
The one that came.
That was Tsunami Jeb.
Ooh.
The New Orleans one. The Hurricane. Katrina.
Hurricane Katrina, that did a lot of damage into the billions of dollars. But wind speed, it was not the strongest hurricane on record, no.
Hurricane Jerry.
Hurricane Jerry, that your teacher appreciates the veiled, not so veiled compliment. But no.
I'm going to guess it was 1922 to 1924. They were still using female names. I'm going to guess it's Hurricane Margaret.
There was a hurricane called Super Typhoon Tip.
Whoa, that's not a woman's name.
No, it's not. 1979. Well,
You haven't been to John's neighborhood.
You are what you eat. At any rate, That reached speeds of over 190 miles per hour.
Wow.
And that is the hurricane with the greatest wind speed recorded.
Where
on
was
Earth.
it? Where did it hit?
In the United States. But it was big, so it doesn't have like a specific.
Oh, okay.
But it was a United States event,
Right.
I believe. Now, in the solar system, where's the most powerfully hurricane known?
I'm going to say Venus because they have an atmosphere, I've learned.
Okay.
I will say.
Wait a second. You keep cutting John off. Let John
I'm sorry.
go.
I'm sorry. I didn't know he was.
I would say Jupiter.
We have a vote for Jupiter, vote for Venus. What do you think, sir?
Mars.
No. No. What's it going to be?
Mars.
They have the biggest volcano. They got to have something. It is Jupiter. Jupiter famously has a big red spot on it.
That's a hurricane?
That's a hurricane.
Wow. It just never goes away?
We don't know if it never goes away, but it was first observed in the 1600s.
Wow.
And it's been going, as far as we know, continuously for 400 to 500 years.
Wow.
The wind speeds get over 250 miles per hour, it's believed. But also its radius, like the physical size of that storm. I mean, with a common telescope or binoculars, you can see the red spot. If you look at it, it's that visible. So it's huge. The radius of this storm shrinks and contracts sometimes, but it ranges between 20 and 40,000 kilometers radius,
Wow.
which is significantly larger than the radius of the Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know the radius of the Earth, Dan Brown?
6
6.
kilometers.
No. It is, however, 6,000 kilometers.
6,000 okay. It's about 3,000 miles.
Yes. Approximately.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's 1.6. Is the
How do
conversion.
we go from Fahrenheit to metric? I would have gotten that.
Okay.
If we hadn't made the jump.
Right.
No, I wouldn't have.
Then we have one more of these planetary geology questions. The Earth, of course, has a moon. Does anyone know the radius of the Earth's moon? Approximately even?
I believe it's 1/3 the size of the Earth.
That is actually, although an unorthodox answer, not far from the truth.
Yeah.
So I'll give you 1/3 of a point.
All right.
Okay. Any ideas? Any ideas?
I believe that the moon
Any
was
guesses?
once part of the Earth. That was a theory.
I'm going to say 1,900 kilometers.
That is very close. 1,700 kilometers.
Oh!
Wow.
So I'll give you 1,900 points and 200 to John for being close.
All right.
Now, of course, the follow-up question is this. Where is the largest moon in the solar system?
Saturn.
We have a vote for Saturn.
Are we doing the largest physical moon or largest in comparison to the planet?
No, this is like just the radius of...
Uranus. Uranus, for argument's
Okay.
sake.
A popular answer. The largest moon of Saturn is called Titan, which is 2,500 kilometers in radius. But that is not the largest moon.
Really?
The largest moon, my friends, is in Jupiter. It's called Ganymede, and it's 2,600 kilometers.
Wow.
All right. Well, I gotta take a moment and subtotal some of these grades. I wanted to ask this question. We're going to go in a different direction, see if this lightens or livens things up a little bit. We'll see what you think about this. You know, around the year 2000, the American Film Institute started giving out all these lists, 100 top of this, 100 that, 100 best comedy movies. In 2003, they released a list called 100 Heroes and Villains, which are the top 50 heroes or villains from American movies, obviously predating 2003. Of course, we're not going to list all 100, but I would like to do a speed round where we're going to go around the class 2 or 3 times, and anybody who can tell me a character that was in the top 5 of either list gets a point. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. John?
Joker.
The Joker is not in the top 5.
Hitler.
Hitler is not in the top 5 of movie villains.
Oh.
Batman.
Batman is not in the top 5 of heroes or villains.
Your list is wrong.
Take it up with the American Film Institute.
Oh, okay.
Shoot, as Dan
Shoot,
Brown just
shoot.
said. All right, come on. That was a warm-up. Let's do around a couple more times. So we're back to you, John.
Two-Face.
We're stuck in comic book characters, aren't we?
Yes.
So that was a no, by the way.
So you want a hero or a villain?
Top 5 movie heroes or villains, according to the American Film Institute.
Huh. I'm going to say Rambo.
Rambo is not in the top 5.
Can I give you a hero and a villain?
Yes.
Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader.
Darth Vader is correct.
Okay.
So a point.
Luke Skywalker, no.
None of the Star Wars heroes are even in the top 10.
Wow.
But Darth Vader is number 3 on the list of all-time great movie
Wow.
villains.
Okay.
So if we have somebody on the board, John, what do you think?
Captain America.
I will say Captain America as a movie hero comes after 2003. So it might help if you think of classic movies. Even some of these are from black and white movies. I would bet most of these you've
Superman.
heard, even if not all of them.
Superman.
Not in the top 10, actually.
Wow.
I'm surprised.
That's shocking. Let's see. Mad Max.
Mad Max is not in this list at all. Of course, I only have the top 10 in front of me, so I don't have the entire list of 100. Dan Brown. Give me a good movie hero or villain. You're the only one on the board so far.
Wizard of Oz. Like the wizard.
Oh, the actual wizard of the Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
I'm not going to be a hero either.
He's kind of in between.
Yeah.
He was kind of a
Dorothy would be the
a
hero.
jerk.
Yeah.
Who's also not in the top 10, by the way.
Oh.
Oh!
All right.
Okay.
You got one?
Sean.
Willy Wonka.
No Willy Wonka.
The Tick.
No The Tick.
Wicked Witch of the West.
The Wicked Witch of the West is number 4.
Aha!
We have a score.
Oh.
See, it's not as crazy as it sounds. Also, keep in mind, The Wizard of Oz is an old movie, so several of these characters are from older movies.
Right.
So I don't know if that, though not all of them. We got to try this at least 1 or 2 more times.
Aladdin.
No Aladdin, and I will say no Disney heroes or
Wow.
I'm sorry, no Disney heroes are in the top 10, and the Queen in Snow White is number 10 on the villain list. And that's the only Disney villain.
We're going for top 5 though.
Yes, to score a point.
Right.
So that's why I gave away that answer, just because
Right.
we were on Disney for a second. Come on, think about old classic heroes.
Terminator.
The Terminator, interestingly, although he's not in the top 5 or 10, Arnold Schwarzenegger was listed as both a hero and a villain on the full list for playing the Terminator.
I was going to say,
For the same
he's
character.
bad in the first one.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
a bad guy.
So he plays both his Terminators are on the full list.
Interesting.
What describes a hero? Someone who saves the day, or someone people look up to, or the villain is just the antagonist in general?
All of the above.
Okay.
Just a protagonist, but a heroic protagonist.
Okay.
Here, I'll give you
I would say Clark Gable. Is
Well,
he
we need
Gone
a
with the Wind.
character. Gone with the Wind, Clark Gable. I know he wasn't in the top 10 of heroes. No.
Rocky.
Rocky Balboa is number 7.
Ooh.
So-
we're getting close. This is a
Okay.
good one.
Okay.
Oh, Incredible Hulk.
There's no. These are not comic book heroes, sir. Yeah, put your comic book away and start paying attention to the teacher.
Man. Who else could it be? I'm trying to think.
Godzilla.
Godzilla is not in the top 10. There's no, other than the Wicked Witch of the West, I would say there's no other monsters, although several of the characters.
Right.
I'll say number 1 and 2 are both serial killers from movies
Jason.
on the villain list.
Hannibal Lecter.
Number 1!
Man.
The number 1 villain.
That I
Hannibal
agree.
Lecter.
I gotta agree with that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
I gotta agree. Okay.
So bonus Farber bean points for...
I think he won the Oscar and only had 18 minutes on screen.
Yes.
Something ridiculous like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Who played the dad in To Kill a Mockingbird?
Gregory Peck.
But the character of Atticus Finch?
Yes.
We have the winner of the hero list.
Really?
Wow.
Atticus Finch was the number 1 hero.
He
according to the
He
American
was the
Science
lawyer
Fiction.
who tried.
In
to-
fact, I think we have a winner of the Nerd Prize.
oh my God! Oh my God! This is the happiest day of my life.
For even knowing that there is something called To Kill a Mockingbird is worth points in my class.
Oh my God!
All right, I'll tell you what.
I really thought Boo Radley was the hero in that, but that's the way I read it.
For the sake of putting you and my students listening at home out of their misery, I'll give you all one more guess for points, and then let's round out these lists real quick.
All right.
John Huff, give me a hero or villain.
Hero or villain? Flash.
No. And that's the sound you hear is your score disappearing in a flash. Kevin Downey Jr., give us another one.
Is it the bad guy from Cape Fear, Robert De Niro? Although there was an earlier one
version.
with...
But neither one, though, is in the
okay.
top 10. Again, I don't have the whole 100 in front of me, just
All
the
right, I
top
give up.
10.
2003.
Yes, so pre-2003, several of these are black and white. All of these, well, since we got Atticus Finch on the table, you almost certainly know all the rest of them. That's the only one I would have thought maybe would throw people, and you kind of worked your way to it. You'll know everyone else on this list.
Charlton Heston, Moses?
No, there's no superhero, sir. That's a comic book character.
I'm out.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say Superman, but I think someone already said
Yes.
that. What
number
about
2,
Rick Vaughn?
Number 2 and 3 on this list are both characters that are not from comic books, but are modeled on comic book superheroes, and you know them both, to the point where you'll be kicking yourself. Here's just the top 5 heroes. We said Atticus Finch.
Right.
None of the other top 5 got mentioned. 2, Indiana Jones. 3, James Bond.
Oh.
Should have known. I just saw a James Bond movie.
Yes, they've been showing him on television for the holidays.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. And number 4, Rick from Casablanca.
Oh, never would have
I've
guessed
never
it.
seen that.
That's your homework, sir. Any students listening to the sound of my voice who have not seen Casablanca, that is your homework. And number 5 is the hero from the Old Western High Noon, which is Will Kane, is his character's name. So that's
okay.
another older character.
Oh, we could have did John Wayne. John
Yeah.
Wayne on there?
I thought about John Wayne, but I couldn't come up with a movie.
Yeah, it's got to be the character.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, 6, by the way, was Clarice from Silence of the Lambs.
Ah,
7 was Rocky, which you did guess. 8 was Ripley from Aliens. And look at the villains. We did get Dr. Lecter, number 1. Number 2, the most famous serial killer of them all, Norman Bates.
oh,
Wow.
okay.
The first film serial killer, not really, but in a way, sort of the archetypical one for later movies. Darth Vader we did get. Wicked Witch of the West we did get. Number 5, Nurse Ratched.
Oh,
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
yeah.
Excellent. I did notice that going down the list, number 9, they have Regan from The Exorcist. But that didn't seem fair to me. She's not the villain.
She's not the villain.
No, Satan is the villain. They
Yeah.
got it. They've messed it up somehow. All right.
Regan is a mere pawn.
Yes. She's an innocent child. How can she be the villain? It doesn't even make sense. All right. Well, let's turn our attention to one more topic. I'm going to start with a kind of innocent question, but it's a sort of a can of worms topic, so we can go in some other directions, depending on what you think. Here's, though, is an innocent and direct question. How much lead is in a lead pencil?
Number 2.
Your next question is going to be, what does the number 2 mean in pencils? So get ready.
How much lead is it?
How much lead is in it? I'm going to say 4 ounces.
We have a vote for number 2, a vote for 4 ounces. John, you ever heard anything about pencils?
No, I don't. Not sure.
Well, it is a trick question, so that makes you the smartest for not wanting to be drawn into the trap.
Uh-oh.
Modern pencils that we use nowadays,
Graphite.
of course, have graphite in them. That is correct, dear sir. So you get a G for graphite. So
Yeah.
there's no lead in lead pencils.
Really?
That's why I don't get lead poisoning from eating my pencils.
That's true, except ironically, people still used to get lead poisoning from their eating their pencils, but not from the graphite. From
From the wood?
Smelling it?
not from the wood.
The glue?
Well, smelling it or eating it, but putting it in their mouth, because there used to be
Oh, in the paint?
in the paint. Yes, 10 points for Kevin Downey Jr.
In the yellow paint?
The yellow paint used to have lead in it. So there is a kind of ounce of truth in the kind of wives' tale about getting lead poisoning from pencils. There were other writing utensils before pencils, but graphite pencils were dependent on the discovery of graphite. Did anyone know when graphite came into widespread use, even approximately, like the century, the year?
No clue.
No,
17th century.
which would be the 1600s,
Yes.
17th century, 1600s. What do you think, John?
That's about right. It sounds right.
It's in the right ballpark. It's the 1500s is when graphite deposits were really discovered and mined, and they found out they'd made a great writing utensil.
All those years plucking those feathers off of birds.
Now, the
Total waste of time.
word pencil itself is older than that invention because there were other writing utensils. I wondered, do you know what the root word of the word pencil is? There's also a reason I'm asking. There's like a follow-up question that's much more interesting than the original question.
What, the root word of pencil?
Yeah,
like
like-
pen. What pen actually stands for?
Well, that's not what the word. That's not the root word of the word pencil. But
Is it penicillin?
it is not
I
penicillin.
didn't think so.
It comes from an old French word. Sorry, you made me laugh, Dan Brown. Actually, it originally comes from an old Latin word that is penicillus. So penicillus is the
Ooh,
root word
that
of
was close.
the word pencil. But what does penicillus mean?
Pointy.
Dirty hand.
John Huff?
Transmissive.
Yours might be the closest in a way. Dirty hands is good too. The original Latin word meant little tail. And penicillus is also the root word of what other word that we
Penicillin?
use every day? Not penicillin.
Arby's.
A root, possibly the secret sauce. It's the same. Pencil and penis have the same root word
Really?
because the old Latin word meant little tail. So
You haven't seen Dan Brown's
Oh,
little tail.
well, that's a number 2.
It's more like a number 9.5.
Well, speaking of the grading scale, since it keeps coming up, that does mean something to say number 2 pencil. Do you know what it means?
number 2 pencil.
Yes. Like, what does the 2 actually mean?
I think it has to do with the darkness and the heaviness of the lead.
That is correct, Kevin Downey Jr. The bigger the number of your pencil, the heavier the graphite is.
Yeah.
But the heavier the graphite is, the softer of a mark it makes because it doesn't like rub off as much.
Yeah, I need 2 hands to use my number 5 pencil. I can't move it.
That's a lot of graphite.
Yeah.
I have to at least ask you a couple more questions about the pencil. The largest pencil manufacturer, though based in Germany, has its U.S. offices in what American city?
Ottawa. I'm kidding. Is it in Washington State?
It is not in Washington State.
Beechwood, Ohio.
It is in Ohio, in fact, but not Beechwood.
Mentor.
Not in Mentor.
Cleveland.
Cleveland, Ohio is the
Wow.
location. It's Faber-Castell.
I was prepared to go through every city in Ohio to get this one.
They do $950 million worth of business every year manufacturing pencils and
Wow.
pencil-related products. And their U.S. offices are in Cleveland. When is National Pencil Day?
I'm going to say
February 2nd. Number 2, number 2.
I like that answer.
Thank you.
You get a C for clever,
Ooh.
but an F for wrong.
Oh,
I'm going to say September 6th when school starts.
wow.
March 30th, for some unknown reason, is National Pencil Day. I do want to mention one other thing, and I'm going to warn you that no one will know the answer, but it's one of the great names in the footnotes of history. I feel like I should emphasize I am not making this up. Pencils now have erasers attached to them, but they didn't always. That was its own invention. I'll just let you know that invention came about in the 1850s. And a person applied for the patent to be able to put the eraser on the pencil
What year?
in the 1850s. Does anyone know the name? This not in any way made up name of a real person in history.
Was his last name Rubber?
No. Any other guesses or thoughts?
No.
I'll give you like 5 seconds.
Uh,
This is a name that
Abraham
If
Lincoln.
it were not a true, that's a good guess, but no. If this were not a true name, it would be the name that a hack would come up with because they needed a funny name for a joke.
Dick Balls.
Hyman Lipman.
Wow.
That is a real person's name.
That's a horrible name.
Say that name again.
Hyman
Hyman.
Lipman.
Hyman Lipman.
He was Hyman until he ran into his friend Dick.
Kaboom.
All right, this brings us to the part of the class where we do extra credit.
All right.
So for the extra credit part of the class is I'm going to give you all a topic, and you will elucidate the class by sharing your wisdom with us and with the students listening at home. Today's topic is European history.
All right.
You have something, Kevin?
I do.
Let's hear it.
If there hadn't been World War I, there wouldn't have been World War II. And there didn't need to be World War I because no one wanted to fight it except for one European leader who wasn't even high up, wasn't even a ranking leader. There were 3 cousins, the King of England, the Tsar of Russia, and the Kaiser of Germany were all related. No one wanted to fight. The only one that actually wanted to fight was a guy who's considered a hero now, Winston Churchill. He said, we should fight this. And they fought, and Germany never technically surrendered. They had signed an armistice.
Sure.
And then when it was over, they said, all right, you must sign that you surrender, and we're going to rob you and take some things and some land. And they went, we have to, or they're going to take over our country. That was the Treaty of Versailles, which pissed off Hitler, which he magically got into power. That never should have happened. But I know how that happened, too. There's a lot of...
Well, the one thing I'd like to say is we don't have time right now to fact-check everything you're saying, but indisputably you get 100% for the observation that without World War I, there could not have been a World War II.
Or that Hitler shouldn't have been in charge.
That's a pretty high bar to set.
Yeah.
Dan or John, do you have any interesting trivia, facts, or information about European history?
Rob Van Dam beat Jeff Hardy when they combined the Intercontinental and European Championships on Monday Night Raw back in 2002.
I don't have time to fact-check all that.
But
I will say it's an indisputable fact that without World War I, there cannot be a World War II.
Right.
Because that's how numbers work.
Yes.
All right. John Huff, tell us some European history.
Let me see. Legal prostitution.
What about it? You're a fan? You're against it? You're pro? They have it in Europe?
Oh, I'm anti. I mean,
So that's why you don't go to Europe? There's too much of that free prostitution going on?
anti-liberal.
He's the world's most liberal anti-prostitution man in all of Akron.
Well, liberal for the decision, but anti for the diseases.
There's an indisputable fact that there'd be no diseases if World War I had not created World War II. It's just the way numbers work. All right. And then so it leaves it for me to tally all your grades, and having done so, I've determined that the winner of today's coveted classroom prize is John Huff.
Yes.
Woo! Congratulations, John. Well, good job in class today. So it just remains for me, your teacher, to thank you, Dan Brown.
Thank you. I look forward to taking this class for a 5th time.
You'll pass. Don't give up. Someday you'll get there. We'll print off your diploma.
Thank you.
And
When should I drop this class?
in about 14 seconds. Just hold on. Hold it. Thank you, Kevin Downey Jr.
My pleasure.
Oh,
I'm the oldest guy in my frat.
There's only one left over. No one else survived. And thank you, John Huff.
Oh, you're welcome, man. Thank you.
All right, absolutely.
Gold Star Classroom is written and produced by Jerry Jaffe. Our producer and engineer is Stephen Gutierrez. Original music composed and produced by Jeff Geddert. Mr. Geddert is also our assistant producer. All commentary and opinions expressed by guests of Gold Star Classroom are meant for entertainment purposes only. For Gold Star Classroom, I'm Jerry Jaffe.